1 p.m. Eastern, Baltimore Ravens 1-1, 1-0 on the road against New England Patriots, 1-1, 0-0 at home. Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Here we have another football team who gets to have their home debut here at Foxborough. And I cashed on the Patriots, and I cashed fading the Ravens last week. 67 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour. Let's go back to the one thing that did kind of irk me was not moving on the under with you in the Patriots-Steelers game. Watching that game, I was sitting there, and I kept thinking, God, I'm right. But the under was so right as well. I really could have had a nice double-up spot, and great call by you. Let's go through the line history here in this Ravens-Patriots spot. We have it opening up at +3, but at that point, the Patriots were minus 115, so it's been an 8-cent move to the Ravens. From a total perspective, opened up at 43.5 and is now at 43, although it did drop to 42.5, so it's come back up. Let's take a look at the cash and see if any of that correlates here. And here we go, 10,680 tickets in. 10% of the tickets on the Patriots, but 21% of the cash. I'm very comfortable being on the side with that going on, although I don't like the 8-cent move towards the Ravens. It means there is some concern. And then 55% of the tickets, 68% of the cash on the over. And I think that might be the right look. Can I go back to that? Sorry, one more time. That's 55% tickets, 68% cash on the over. Ravens coming off of that shocking 42-38 loss home to the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson was excellent. 21-29, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Also ran 9 times for 119 yards, including a 79-yard TD run. That's his 11th 100-yard rushing game. That's his NFL record. Mike Vick had 10. Jackson also became the first quarterback in NFL history with both a touchdown pass and a touchdown run of at least 75 yards in the same game. Rashard Bateman, 4 receptions for 108 yards and a touchdown. Mark Andrews stepped up, 9 catches, 104 yards and a touchdown. Duvernay returned the opening kickoff, 103 yards for a touchdown. But, and it's a major but, their defense looked awful in the second half. Marcus Williams had his 2 picks in the first half. The secondary was just consistently beaten over the top in the second half. And maybe it's because Waddle and Tyreek are the fastest wide receivers in the league. Or maybe the Ravens have real issues in their secondary with aging players coming off injuries. Dolphins had 233 yards of offense in the fourth quarter and 547 in the game. Tua threw for 469 yards, 4 passing TDs in the fourth quarter alone. Marcus Peters was in his first game back after missing all of last season with a knee injury. Cornerback Marlon Humphrey played after dealing with a groin injury. The Ravens got 1 sack and 2 quarterback hits. The linebacker Stephen Means was carted off the field with an ankle injury, and Duvernay entered concussion protocol. J.K. Dobbins is now week to week, says John Harbaugh. So he was a full participant in the Ravens practices last Wednesday through Friday, but they're in no hurry to rush him back, ACL and LCL injury. Patriots followed up that listless week 1 loss in Miami by defeating the Steelers 17-14 in Pittsburgh. They've now started 0-20 in 20 years. Mac Jones, 21-35 for 252 yards, a touchdown and a pick. His offensive line was excellent. He wasn't sacked. He was only hit 3 times. Aguilar had 6 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. Jacoby Myers, 9 for 95. Damian Harris ran 15 times for 71 and a touchdown. Caught 2 passes for 16. Now, Mac Jones can't push the ball downfield like Tua did, And it's not because I think Mac Jones is incapable. It's because he doesn't have Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. Their defense was excellent. 3 sacks on Trubisky, held the Steelers to 243 yards of total offense. So after Miami put up 42 points on the Ravens in Baltimore, allowing just 20 points to them in Miami, the Patriots allowing just 20 points in Miami in week 1 is starting to look a little better. Take it away. I can't wait to hear your breakdown. I want to have action on this game. Ravens, Patriots.
Yeah, a couple of good defenses. And a big reason I bet Miami last week was because of the secondary injuries. That's something to monitor this week. I tend to lean towards the Ravens just because the only thing I've seen, take care of these Ravens when we was the Jets game. I don't know if I can really count the Jets game. Although the Jets won last week. What are you going to do? But it was hard to evaluate that Jets game. It felt like that one was just in hand immediately. But what beat this team was a big-armed quarterback going over the top to a speedy receiver. And it's funny, like Waddle would be the fastest receiver on 30 other teams? Honestly, maybe not Baltimore. Duvernay's crazy fast. But yeah, Baltimore has some fast receivers. I'd shit on these receivers during the preseason, but if they can get them into the fold and Lamar Jackson is willing to be a runner like he has been and not worried about his contract situation, it's a scary offense. New England will be a big challenge for them defensively. One of the best, and on the road, you're facing a good defense on the road. I just don't know what the hell to make of this New England offense. Like, even them getting to the, what was it, 17? Where did we end up with the final score for New England last week? End up 17-14.
Yeah.
Like the one was a real short drive off a muff punt. The other one was just, honestly, I don't want to call it lucky because it was a decent throw, but that throw to Aguilar, like, they essentially had one nice play on offense and got a really short field. I don't believe in this New England offense whatsoever. I've seen somebody mention the New England team total under. That's sitting at 20.5. That's probably a good play. And yeah, I'm gonna wait for injury news on the Baltimore secondary. If the secondary can get anything put back there to cover, Aguilar, yeah, there's not much. There's not much to cover. It's certainly not what they had to cover last week. But Ravens in a bounce back here. Just need some positive injury news in that defensive secondary.
Yeah, and you might not get it.
It might be a pass. Yeah,
you might not get it. I know that the Patriots don't have a good offense, but I don't know. I'd like to see them at home. I don't trust Judge and Patricia at all, but I would like to see them at home. I think they're in this football game. What do you think of this total? This total right now, 54% of tickets, 68% of cash on the over, and we've seen it go from 43.5, it dropped down to 42.5, now back at 43.
Yeah, the total is a fair number because it's a tough defense that Baltimore will be going up against. A couple tough defense, and really, even if we don't get a fully healthy Baltimore defense, it's just been such an anemic offense. New England had like 4-5 drives that were, like under 20 yards. They had a couple of 3-and-outs, a 3 and I think a third down interception early on, traded interceptions early. Like I said, their one touchdown drive was a 10-yard drive off a muff punt. The offense had a couple of field goal drives. I believe they missed one as well. Just, it wasn't an inspiring offense versus a defense that was missing the defensive player of the year from last year. And we've all, everyone kind of predicted to regress a little based on just they can't continue to play at that level, especially with some of these guys aging out. So I'm really, really tough. It's a tough sell for me. Like, what does New England need to get to cover this 3? How many points? They probably need to get to their team total. They need to get near 20, and it's just hard for me to get them near 20 without something like that where they catch a lucky break on a muff punt or a long bomb that defender was in a decent spot. That's a 50-50 ball. So I'm out on the Patriots so far. They were not lucky to win that game. So just like they had that short drive that they were lucky to score on, I wasn't impressed with anything that Pittsburgh did for their scoring drives as well. They essentially had the one good drive, and I think they punted in their last 2 or 3 drives as well. It's an under team. That's why this total is low. Totals have been a little lower this week. So if the Ravens get 24-27, I don't see how New England covers this. So I'm waiting for injury news. Leaning Ravens. Think the total's fine. Probably staying off this one for now.